Fred him.
Ah!
You fixing your hair?
I am.
Mm-hmm. No, continue. You're always so handsome.
Don't touch me. You may have pox.
Ah!
You look like Princess Leia.
Thank you. Daddy, you are my daddy.
Daddy, you are my daddy. Roll the opening.
Hello, and welcome back to
What's Safe Word?
I'm Amp,
I'm Mr. Christopher.
and today
we are
monkeying around. Today we are answering probably the most asked questions we have on every single freaking social media, because y'all, we are a sex education channel and y'all got a few kinks that have questions.
My inbox is flooded with monkeypox questions, and I'm like, I don't know how to answer this. I am not an expert on this.
No more monkeys jumping on the bed, because today we are talking to an actual professional doctor.
We should actually get a doctor in here.
Have you ever seen a doctor before?
Only in the porns I've shot. Oh my God.
Hi, it's Dr. Katya. I'm not a real doctor, but I am a part-time animal psychic.
How is their bedside manner?
Oh, she educated.
Isn't it typical that when the doctor walks in, you lower your pants? Do you do that with your doctor?
And today's guest, Dr. Carlton, is here to answer not only the questions you guys asked on social media, but to answer our own questions as far as how this is affecting our community, how we can better protect ourselves, and what even is the deal with those vaccinations? I hear there's multiple. Do we need them all? How does that work? There's so many questions and so much meat to today's conversation. I'm actually really excited to digest it all. And I don't mean digesting the doctor's meat. Anyway, so let's go ahead and give the good old doctor a nice house call. Yeah, do you want to give him a little? Daddy, can you ring him? Can you like dial a
Beep, bop, boop, boop, bop, beep.
Oh no, wrong number. It was boop 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 beep bop.
Dr. Lecter. Relief. I'm calling the doctor.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Carlton. Mr. Carlton.
I'm just going to call him Doc.
Who are you? What do you do? And what brought you to where you are here today?
My name is Dr. Carlton on social media. I am a gastroenterologist in San Diego, California. I trained at the Mayo Clinic, the world's best place to do what I do. A couple of years during the pandemic, my husband and I were sitting on the couch one night, and I said, hey, I'm going to turn on this TikTok thing the kids are always on just to see what it's like. I made a video about anal sex because, hey, I know my way around a butt professionally and personally.
Don't touch the butt.
Touch the butt.
I turned it on at 8 o'clock, and I looked up at the clock about 12, and I had laughed and cried and learned how to make chili. You know, she knows, honey, that the algorithm knows. Turned my phone back on the next day, I had 50,000 followers.
Oh,
on
wow.
TikTok.
Just from an anal sex TikTok?
And along came monkeypox, and boom.
Mhm.
Nobody was stepping up in the medical community to really provide any information.
Can you, just for a very, very broad audience that might not even understand what we're talking about when we say monkeypox, what is it? And what is kind of the ramifications of it and our sex lives as well as just our health?
Monkeypox is a virus that is in the orthopox virus family, like smallpox. It was generally spread from animals to humans. Something happened where this virus mutated and became more spreadable from human to human, and it's a skin-to-skin contact. While it is not an STI technically, it is very easily spread through sexual contact. And right now, over 95% of the cases are in men who have sex with men and have been spread through sexual contact. Because other people are getting it too in a non-sexual means, you can't call it an STI, but it's as close as you can get. All it takes is to touch the infected lesions, which so what happens with this virus? Once you're infected with it, after a period of 7 to 14, maybe even up to 21 days, you get a fever, you get lymph node swelling, you get night sweats, flu-like symptoms, and then this rash appears. This rash is like chickenpox, a blistering vesicular rash, but the middle of the rash looks more like a big pimple. Typically, it happens on your hands, on your trunk, on your face, but also with recent spread, it's happening in the genital area. So in people's asses, around their buttholes, on their cheeks, in their throat, on their tongue.
What's the situation with, like, if someone that might have been infected is, sitting on your couch or even gets in your bed, like how long does it stay on a surface like that without being like cleaned for sure?
Well, the virus is pretty hardy as far as its ability to stay around. How long it's infective, really, it depends on what sort of secretions happen there. We don't really have that many cases where it was spread through infected linens or surfaces.
And I'm sure it's not made any easier with like the news and how certain political parties have like kind of weaponized the sex having part as well.
Like if a child gets it, oh, how did the child get it? You know, it's a sexually transmitted infection. Well, it's not always a sexually transmitted infection. So we have to be very careful with that narrative. At the same time, we have to own that 95% of these cases are in men who have been having sex with men. So
and get vaccinated too.
And get vaccinated and take care of yourself and let the vaccines work.
And so that's one thing I was noticing a lot of misinformation right out first, because here in San Francisco, guys would get vaccinated and then immediately think they're immune from getting it and then going out and playing.
Yeah, so that's not the way to do this. They don't realize
that you need at least how long?
Yeah, what's the rate like for 1 to 2 shots sort of thing? Because that's what people ask is like, how safe am I? And I'm no doctor, but
that's the really frustrating thing about this whole process right now is we don't fucking know. I give a good, better, best scenario because nobody else is. And I'm taking data from the New England Journal of Medicine that says at about 2 to 3 weeks after vaccination, you have a good antibody level. 3 to 4 weeks, you have a better antibody level and more protection. 2 weeks after the second shot, you have your best antibody level. Some studies say as much as 98%. No vaccine is 100%, no matter what vaccine you're talking about.
Right.
But your best shot at immunity is 2 weeks after a second shot for monkeypox.
Okay.
Now, the frustrating thing is a lot of places aren't giving second shots right now. And hell, some people can't even get their first shot. And there's a big push to get people vaccinated with at least some protection first before they get a second shot.
But we also have friends that have already had it, and some friends who have, you know, their measles or chickenpox. Like, how does that kind of affect? And like, this is a big question when we kind of asked our audience is like, can you get it again? Like, let alone getting it once. Yeah, that would suck. But how is the immunity if you were to actually get it?
Great question. I talked to the White House Deputy Director about this. Guidance right now is no vaccine after an infection. We consider you to have immunity, but we don't know how for long. But another problem with that is that the World Health Organization and the UK have come out with guidance that suggests that you should wear a condom for 8 weeks after infection clears.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the condom for?
And there is no data for that. So I think it's more of a, just don't get crazy. Don't get like we did with washing our fruit. Just use your head. It's okay to go to a bar. Just don't take your shirt off and hug and dance and kiss or have sex with somebody there. I'm a gay man. I know my way around a butt professionally and personally.
Are you gay?
Am I gay? Find out after this break.
And I know for me personally, much like getting a vaccine is very helpful to your own health, having a VPN is especially important for your computer's health. With today's sponsor,
Surfshark.
Teddy, what is VPN?
Very pretty network.
No! Do you want to keep yourself and your computer free of viruses? Then you might need a VPN from today's sponsor, Surfshark. They are a virtual private network. Now, do you like 24/7 customer support? Maybe you're looking for secure internet security, 30-day money-back guarantee if it doesn't meet your standards or kink shames you. Or the best part, getting around geolocations, expanding your Netflix libraries, and watching RuPaul anywhere, anytime, no matter where you are. You need a VPN. So check out Surfshark. And if you use the offer code WATTS or just go to the link down below, you get 83% off on a discount and 3 months for free when you try 2 years. Thank you again, Surfshark, for making sure I can search safely and figure out what information is useful for monkeypox. And thanks for sponsoring today's episode.
Thank you, Surfshark.
I wish viruses made that sound before they approach. That way you knew you could just
that'd
like
make
run
it
away.
so much easier. Like, could you imagine being in a bar and like multiple people having it, and you hear dun 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 dun.
Until we can get fully vaccinated, altering our sexual behavior can still be great. I mean, you can still do great things. Some people say, listen, you could try to build a sex pod of people that you trust that aren't going to go outside of a small circle. Phone bone and FaceTime bone and all kinds of virtual stuff, masturbation, toys, all kinds of great stuff.
Hang on.
I was about to ask what.
Bone?
No, it's phone sex or like virtual.
Okay.
I was about to say, what sex toy is a phone bone?
Yeah, no, that one threw me. I was like, that's a puppy thing? Is it? Do they do phone bones?
They do. They fetch.
That is so fetch.
So pretty much learning from COVID and even learning things from HIV. We're learning from these past pandemics and doing our best. Honestly, as someone who literally 2 days ago, I'm very fair skinned, and we live in an area with tons of mosquitoes, and my blood, I'm told, is very favorable for them. Blood. So I wake up 2 or 3 days ago and I had like 3 or 4 bites on my chest, and I start like freaking out. And I send him pictures. I send my doctor friend pictures.
He's also a hypochondriac.
I should have asked you, but I didn't. Like, how do we differentiate that?
I think the most important thing is to put things together as far as timeline and symptoms. If you have fever and sweats and flu-like symptoms, and then you develop these bumps, that's more of a cause for concern. Although people who have been vaccinated may have a little more of an atypical reaction to the infection. Mm-hmm. Some people who do get vaccinated and either got infected just before they got vaccinated or got infected after vaccination are having milder cases. And also people who got the smallpox vaccine as a kid who never got vaccinated are having milder cases. They're still getting it, but they're having milder cases.
So like when I had my mosquito bites, I started doing my own research, and I found some lovely resources, yourself included. Let's say someone thinks that they might be infected or might be, having symptoms. Like, what's the incubation period? What's the best steps? And then I'd love to hear about some of the side effects you've seen that have been bad. Infection until symptoms, the incubation that happens varies from anywhere from 0 to 21 days. The extreme is 21. I've been hearing about a week to 10 days is the most common. Usually you start off with this flu-like, that's almost like COVID, really, except for you develop lymph nodes and really extreme night sweats, and not so much the pulmonary, the cough stuff, but more of a systemic, just not feeling well kind of thing. And then the rash happens. And if you bottomed, the proctitis or rectal inflammation that goes along with that is quite severe. And that's the most painful part of this whole thing. I think this virus attacks the nerves in the rectal area and causes an extreme amount of pain. I've two people who gave me descriptions of it, both of whom had their neighbors call 911 because they thought somebody was being murdered every time they had a bowel movement. And I don't think that even doctors get how fucking painful this is. This is the worst pain. People said that this is 1,000 times worse than anything they experienced with COVID. One guy said he got hit by a car. He got shot 3 times in Afghanistan. And this pain is still worse than any pain he ever experienced before. So you bring up a good point. Is the medical community prepared for this, especially if it jumps over to not gay men? They are not at all. So you get it in your ass, horrible pain. You get it inside your penis and your urethra, swelling and swell up so bad. Yeah. I'm trying not to. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry. Okay, first of all, do not be sorry, because this is important information that I hope puts the fear of gay God into some people, and just so they're more cautious. Gay God. I want to meet gay God. I know. Yeah, aren't you gay God? Yeah. I'm sorry. If I could show you the pictures and the videos people had sent me. Yeah, because I wonder what it's going to take for people to pause and not spread this. I think if people heard the audibles and saw the videos of people crying and screaming that I get in my inbox, that they would really appreciate how painful this is and would want to avoid it. Sometimes you need something that shocking. But it does beg a question, though, because we get censored all the time talking about sex. I'm wondering what Instagram's going to do, because you're talking about STDs, sex, and all these things that are affecting the gay community. Have you gotten banned on anything yet for what you post? Let's not put that out there in the universe. No. I don't think they'll ban you. And honestly, I'm lucky that a lot of my stuff on Instagram hasn't been taken down, but it's such a good source. Right.
for people that it would be a huge shame if it did get taken down.
So are you guessing that this is going to become a huge national problem for the entire population? And how are they going to, if history repeats themselves and we couldn't even get half of the Americans to get vaxxed for COVID, what's the chances of them doing it for monkeypox?
Yeah, very low. I think what I'm worried about is when it does cross over, and it's bound to. And so once that starts happening and spreading through the schools, this is a whole different ballgame. It's going to shift a lot of the resources away from our community to
as soon as it crosses over, for sure.
As soon as it crosses over, absolutely. And then it's going to be impossible to get vaccinated because they already don't have enough vaccine for us. How are they going to get it for the rest of the country? You know.
And even the people that do have it, I've seen TikToks of a straight woman that's like, I went to my skin person and they said to go to a doctor. I went to my doctor. They said to go to the CDC. The CDC said they couldn't help. I had to go to my doctor.
Yeah, and I even have a wonderful straight woman who works in San Diego to take care of gay men who have monkeypox, and she went to the county walk-up clinic here, and they wouldn't vaccinate her.
Yeah,
I was so pissed. Here's this woman trying to help us, and they're not going to vaccinate her because she's not a man who has sex with men.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Do you know the facts when it comes to the vaccination doses that are available now? I hear different stories of we've ordered more and they're on their way. What's the tea on that right now?
Yeah, well, they're definitely more on the way. But one exciting thing that's happened is there's a new way to give the shot called intradermal. So they actually give it in the skin rather than deeper into the tissues. And it only requires 1/5 of the dose. And it has about the same antibody formation. So we may be shifting over to that method to stretch out the vaccine supply by 5 times.
Would that work for someone having their second dose?
Absolutely. I'm telling people now, if you get the chance to get a vaccine,
get it.
Yeah. Well, and other places are really restricted on how many doses they have and who they give it to. So you have to be on PrEP. You have to.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. You have to be on PrEP?
You have to say you were a sex worker or that you had sex with someone who was infected and can prove it. Or you have to say that you really did have a high body count in the last couple of weeks, you know. So it's been a real big problem for folks. Sorry about that.
Don't be. My puppy does that all the time when he needs to be let out. Don't you?
Mm-hmm. That said, as far as barking goes, the barking orders have always been so disjointed. Like it's so frustrating at times. So I just want to say, like, thank you for sticking with it and making sure that information is available.
So where's a good source for people to go to find resources for this?
As far as information goes on the infection, the symptoms, how to get treatment, even a fairly sex positive statement from the CDC about how to go out clubbing. You can go to cdc.gov/monkeypox. There's a guy named Grant Roth on Instagram who posted a central document, a Google Doc, on where you could get vaccines across the country. He was one of the first people to really centralize that. In Chicago, an engineer came up with a site for the entire city of Chicago, where if you want to get a vaccine in Chicago, you go to chicago.care and you can find a vaccine right away, or you can find treatment, or you can find testing. Our community can come together and do some pretty amazing shit when we're challenged. I think we could build the Taj Mahal out of matchsticks and gum if you get us time.
Well, and we've seen this before with HIV, right?
Exactly.
But before, we didn't have these mediums to put out information quickly. So that's making this a little different. So you're able to get a message out there far faster than ever before.
I appreciate it. I mean, I put up a vaccine clinic and it's full in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
People are that hungry for this vaccine. So it's been an incredible ride. I am exhausted, and I'm going to keep going and try to make this better for everybody.
Well, thank you very much for all those resources, the information, and not to end on like a dark note, but I'd love to go through some rapid fire questions from people in our comments that had about sex, kinky stuff, and monkeypox. The first one being from a caged bear, a completely encased gimp with gas mask should be fine, right?
Absolutely. We joked on the last podcast I did that we were going to Pride in a beekeeper's outfit.
Yeah, so that's basically just a full body condom.
Another question asks, I was always wondering about health risks of fisting or oversized dildos. Now, do you have any experience with that? Because I can never find anything.
You know, that's the question everybody wants to know. Everybody automatically assumes that if you get fisted or use big toys, you're going to end up with fecal incontinence. It really depends on if you were injured or not. The anal sphincter has a pretty remarkable snapback potential. Just, go at your own pace.
And then a personal question. What's the best lube in your own personal opinion? I'm just curious. We have a doctor in front of us. What's the best lube?
I like silicone lube. It is messy and can and stain things up pretty bad, but I like silicone because you don't have to apply it as often or as much. And it also acts as a protective barrier so that if you do have a lot of friction there, that silicone acts as a nice barrier so that you don't get raw.
How about Mary Kill, but instead it is cough, hug, sex. What is the worst of the three, and what is the most safe of the three?
Right now, I think it would be sex is the most common way. Hug, because it's mostly skin to skin contact, and then cough because it takes a lot of prolonged respiratory secretions for you to be really truly exposed to enough droplets from monkeypox to spread through respiratory secretions.
I didn't know that. Okay,
Oh.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so if you're have a prolonged kissing session with somebody and you're really face to face and really getting in there for a while, definitely a risk. But if it's just a little
Like
cough,
you're talking to someone and someone spits or sneezes on you.
yeah, don't freak out.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Gay men just love to kiss each other when they see each other. And at events, we've always had a policy of trying to turn your head. Don't kiss me on the mouth, especially if we've never met or I don't know.
Right.
Can we change that somehow?
What would you prefer
Yeah.
they kiss? Your ass?
Just the side of my cheek, or not. Just a hug is fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to kiss. I kind of like the COVID days where we just did bump elbows.
As long as there's no lesion on the elbow.
Oh, great. Now I have to worry about that.
Well, if people would like to air bump you in any way, shape, or form, where can they find you, Dr. Carlton?
I'm at all spelled out Dr. Carlton, DoctorCarlton on Instagram and on TikTok. My most interactive is my Instagram. I answer all my DMs. And
Oh, wow.
if you have a question or if you have a need or a concern, you can always contact me there.
Well, thank you again very much, Dr. Carlton, for joining us today, answering questions and providing some very scary, graphic reasons that we should all take not only vaccination seriously, but our own health.
I'm just trying to arm people with the information that they need to make good decisions for themselves. What they do with it is up to them.
And that's all we can do at the end of the day. So thank you again, Dr. Carlton, for being on today's show. But whether you are having sex or not, whether you've had one vaccination or two, always have a safe word. And today's safe word, Daddy, is
Bananas. BANANAS. Because this shit is banana.
Oh my God, not the shit. Anyway, you know where to go to find us with that subscription bell. If you have more questions about monkeypox, please leave them in the comments down below.
And if you like ringing bells, ring that bell down below.
And we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Hey. I know we're both vaccinated, but oh wait, here you
Gay people are like, I'm really sexually active, but nothing bad will ever happen to me. Right. It's like, guess what, Linda?
Well, here's to everybody getting fully vaccinated and having an anal autumn.
Anal autumn. Okay.
Happy anal autumn, everyone.
Yeah. Forget sexy summer. It's anal autumn now.